Um, Now, as you can see, this XRP YouTube reward event, and they have a Solana event. It's all scam, and I got scammed, and I lost pretty much money on this one. The topic today is there was a former coworker. I haven't met him for a long, long time, and I met him last week, and he wanted to go through. It's his last day in Melbourne, and he's going to move to Ballarat for getting a permanent residency, getting more points, which what they had to do. And he was asking me for tips, and I asked him, look, if you think about family, better to do it when you're young instead of older, like me. But if you're young, make sure you study a lot of certificate. Look at me now, I'm stuck in one job, I can't move around. And I told him about that, and as well, and I give him a bit of reality of Australia. Like, he stayed in Australia for 6 years, and like I said, he wants to reach into permanent residency, or America, you guys call it the green card. So I told him the reality of Australia, and he did not like it at all. And basically, it's about the tax system, and when even when you retire and get super out, you still a taxable event. And when it's a taxable event, it's sad because you have your normal income, 30 or 40 something percent, and now you got minimum 22% tax on withdrawing your super. And I told him that the retirement here is not that great as well. It's basically how much you have saved, and it's more about family focus, and he's aware of. And I gave him two options, and I said to him, you have two options here. You can go back to Sri Lanka, whether you get PR or not PR, and you can start a family. You can have multiple kids, whatever you want. You can start your business, or you can stay in the poor class, which is from Sri Lanka. Or you come and take on this roller coaster ride in Australia, where it doesn't matter which woman you have married to, and most likely the woman you're married to cannot handle Ballarat lifestyle. But also, like, you're gonna go through the mind game, and you're gonna listen to them, kowtow everything what she says, and fear of divorce, fear of losing your assets and everything like that. And when you go through divorce, you can't move forward as much easy as the banking sees as child support as income for the single mom, and for the fathers they see as expenditure, which is when I get unfavorism for getting a loan in what sort of form. So I told him that, and I told him, like, the Australia dream is for you to stay in this country and have as much of, keep up with the taxes and new taxes, increased taxes, which your country where you're from, you make the money and it's for the family. So I gave him the two choices, and also I told him that, look, if you didn't get your PR this time, it's alright. At least when you go back to your country, you're a lot more toughened up. But remember that you have left your country 6 years ago. So the old Sri Lanka that you remember is no longer work in today. As we know, the country is in recession, depression. And I told him, look, if you decided to get a PR and start a family and everything, marry your woman overseas, and then have a child, but you move to stay in Australia and make the money and send back there, and whatever the business plan or business idea, you do whatever you can, and so you have kids and kids. You're 27, you don't want to end up like me, 35. And could you imagine, you get your PR, you're making money and this and that, by the time you hit your 30s, you start having a child and go through that. You got to be a bit more mature. So I told him that as well. And I told him that this will be his last time to ever get permanent residency in Australia. Once the Australia kicked in for full cashless society, there won't be much people doing cash in hand, and there won't be any cash in hand job. So international students, once they get a PR out, good luck, unless you're coming from a very rich family. So there will be less and less people who are getting it through. That's what I'm trying to say. So that being said, he started to open his eyes, and he's like, look, he'll give a try. And if he gets in the job, he gets in. If he gets a PR, he gets it. If not, I told him you have to toughen up when that day comes. It's alright. You thought Australia was a lot better than your country, but you start to realize, even you start a family, everything, it's not yours. It's a business model. A woman will try to find ways to gain as much because of freedom, money, and power. So I told him that, and it opened his eyes, and he started to realize, thanks for the advice, thanks for everything, and that's it. That was the conversation. And it's sad for us Aussie-born who thinks we followed the books and regulations and everything like that. It doesn't get us nowhere. We thought the government's going to look after for us. Does a bit, but not too much. And you start to question why the migrants are going ahead, are more advanced than Aussie-borns, because they don't follow the book. But once you go through the cashless society completely, that will soon end as well. I feel like, the only way that in the future, right now they're talking about unrealized gain, capital gain tax for the super those who has 3 mil over. During our lifetime, it's going to be, it's going to go down to our level. And not only just that, but also like more and more people will have to get into gambling. Like when I mean by that, like whether it's pokies or RSL sports club, or they do sports betting as well, because there's no tax. So you're teaching all of us algebra or whatever you guys call it. It doesn't relevant to the real world. You try to stop everything, but it doesn't get us further. We follow everything on the books, but we cannot move forward. Gambling is probably the future, the way to go, because there's no tax. It's a higher risk, but it is what it is. In the future, the way how Australia is looking at, they're looking at the unrealized capital gain tax will be on stocks and crypto. You never know, one day they will introduce it on the houses as well. So it is very, very difficult, and I told him the whole thing like that, and it is what it is. So that's the video of today.